what I'll do is very briefly take you through the key features of value communication tools like these using our demo. So this kind of tool is designed to be used by customer-facing teams, for example, key account managers, when they are interacting with healthcare decision makers. So they are rep-led tools, I suppose you could call them. So this particular tool includes a brief introduction and a budget impact model. And it communicates the clinical and economic benefits of using orthotic footwear in people with diabetes who are at high risk of foot problems. And it does that by estimating the number and the cost of ulcers and amputations that could be avoided, and comparing this with the costs of investing in the orthoses. So it's quite a sort of, I guess, classic budget impact model structure. So if I just quickly dive into the demo, this is in a simulator, an iPad simulator. So the first thing that these tools need to do is to select the local population that's of relevance to the audience that you're presenting to. So that could be a hospital trust, it could be a primary care network, an ICS, a health board, whatever is relevant. You could have a number of different population types. In our demo, we have ICSs in England to illustrate that population selection. So if I just start to type into the box here to refine the list, and I'll just pick this ICS for the demo purposes. So in the introduction, this is where we set out the value proposition for the product. That could be quite a short introduction. It could be a very more comprehensive value proposition. You can see in this particular introduction screen how we might build in some interactivity to bring the information to life. So by clicking on each of the nations here in the United Kingdom, we can see the numbers of people with diabetes. So it's just, you know, to make the information a bit easier to take in and more interesting. You can see the superscript numbers here, and that's where we've got references. So of course, any tool like this should have robust reference data used throughout. So I'll go straight through into the budget impact model section now. So the first screen, this is where we're estimating the local number of people with the condition of interest. So in this case, it's people with diabetes, and then filtering through to those who are at high risk of foot ulcers. And you can see on this one where we've got a chart at the bottom. This is just a way of benchmarking. So you can see the selected ICS against all ICSs in the England average. So it's quite a nice way of demonstrating local unmet need and disease management performance. So that helps to facilitate that conversation locally. And where we've got figures here in blue boxes, these are populated with default data but can be overtyped. So again, that helps to build up that local analysis with your customer. And then in this tool, we can then work through a series of input screens, allowing us to build up the sort of current and future scenarios. So in this example, it's the world without orthotic footwear, if you like, the current scenario, what the costs and implications are, and then the uptake of the orthotic footwear and the impact that it has on clinical and financial outcomes. So we have the key information on main screens so that the presentation is quite streamlined, and then we would tend to keep assumptions and data inputs, in this example, the cost inputs, on pop-ups behind the scenes, so that they are there if they're challenged or if the customer wants to change the assumptions, but they don't get in the way of the sort of streamlined flow of presenting the key information. And you can see as well that data are presented both as charts, so you get that kind of immediate visual presentation of the information, but then also presented in tables for a more granular detail as well. So again, just thinking of different ways of presenting the information to help that presentation and the understanding. And then quite quickly, we're through to the results. So it's really all about keeping that presentation brief, streamlined, really easy to get through. We know, of course, and as well as you do, that a lot of the time the customers you're talking to have very limited time. So making sure that the presentation is simple helps to facilitate that. So just some standard functionality. There's the ability to save scenarios, so either in preparation for a call or during a call, you can then save that and open it at any time. That's obviously very helpful for keeping track of conversations out in the field for account managers. But crucially, the tools also incorporate a dynamic summary report. So if this was a standalone iPad tool, that might be created as a PDF attachment to an email that can then be sent to the customer. But within the Aviva environment, such as this, it would be the body of an approved email. So obviously you've got the compliance there. And this really serves as a summary of the conversation, a bit like a business case. So it would include introductions, so that value proposition content we'd already seen in the tool, and then working through the inputs and outputs. So you can see anything in bold here. We changed in the tool, selected the population, we changed the prevalence of diabetes. And then again, we're incorporating tables and charts just to make it a more engaging report. And then this can be sent directly to the customer to serve as a record of the call. So a really, really quick run through. As Emily said, we do have a version of this on our website if you wanted to have a go playing with it yourself, or happy to do a more detailed demo at any time if that would be of interest to anyone.